What's your prediction there?
I'm going to pick Maori Warringah to
No,
win that one.
the Polynesian Seagulls. Okay, yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So
put it
yeah,
on blonde bet. Put it on blonde bet.
Red Hot Underdogs rising tonight. AnzaK and Drewy bringing the fight. Talk about the game ain't just one side. Whistles blowing, sirens loud wide. Energy pumping, scheming plot. Nothing too small, nothing forgot. Boxing gloves and footy kicks. Sport and no sport mixing the fix.
Three, two, one. We did it. Once again, we're here, Joy. We are the Red Hot Underdogs. I am AnzaK, and with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated. Put your hands together for Drewy.
hey buddy, how you going? Hi everybody. Welcome to the podcast that is always on the bottom of the ladder.
Yes, yes, but I tell you who's not on the bottom of the ladder. Manly.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. They are not on the bottom of the ladder.
But we're not on the
So,
top two. I actually haven't seen the ladder. So is Melbourne on top? They got the biggest points difference, right?
Melbourne are on top,
Yep.
closely followed by Brisbane, and then Manly are in third spot. So
But points difference, who cares? You know?
first round,
First
very
round.
glad to bank the 2 points. It's
Yep.
all about getting those wins in the bag early on in the season, so you
Yep.
don't need to do a hard scramble and chase your ass at the back end of the season
Yep.
in order to get into the semi-finals.
Yep. And also when you get that first win, like if you haven't had it for a few weeks, it feels like teams struggle to get it. And
Mm,
Manly have like not had a good start to the season a lot, you know,
often, very
oh,
often,
all the
yes,
time. Like
absolutely.
I can't remember like being like enjoying the first game as much as that. I really
Oh,
can't.
me too, because usually, as a Manly fan, as are you, it's a case of taking your heart pills during the game,
Yeah,
and sometimes you need up to 40 points start just to win the bloody thing, because we've
yeah,
all seen our leads just erode
yeah,
in front
yeah.
of our eyes, as
Quick,
has most clubs, but you see
yeah,
it, you notice it more with your own club.
yeah. No, no.
But
Well, it actually happens more with Manly. It really
it
does.
does happen a lot with
Yeah,
Manly. So, for everyone either listening or watching, I'll just quickly go through the round one
yeah,
scores. It
yep.
started in Vegas. We won't follow any of the Vegas
Nah.
game per se because we did
Yeah.
that last
Nah.
week, but
Yeah,
I will
yeah,
give you the results
yeah,
of round one, which was Canberra 30, the Warriors 8.
yeah,
The Panthers 28, Sharks 22.
yeah.
The Broncos 50, Roosters 14.
Oh, yep.
9-10 beat the Tigers 8.
Yeah.
Rabbitohs 16, Dolphins 14. Bulldogs 28 beat the Dragons 20. The mighty Manly Warringah Sea Eagles 42 beat the Cowboys 12, and today the Melbourne Storm absolutely annihilated the Eels 56 points to 18.
Smashed him. Absolutely smashed him. Like,
Yeah,
um,
so yeah,
but
they really
I mean,
did.
Manly was 42-0. Was
Yes.
I don't think did the Storm get that much nil at one stage? What was that
Yeah,
halftime?
so they were up, I believe, something like 42 to nil, which was the same as Manly at one
Yep.
point. But at half time,
Yep.
it was either 42 nil or 40 nil they were up at one stage. But at half time, the game with the Storm, it was actually 46 points to 6
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Storm favour
Yeah.
at half time.
Yeah.
So Parramatta, to their credit, won the second half 18 points to 10,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
So, 12 points to 10, I'm sorry, 12 points to 10.
Yeah.
But, the Storm, it's a moral victory. You
Yeah.
take what you can for
Yeah.
moral victories. You know, the Storm completely outplayed them.
Yep.
Hughes, Pappenhausen, Munster, the whole gang. This is the reason why we've been saying that they're number one predicted by a lot of punters and a lot of predictors. It's either them or Panthers, take your pick, but they just showed their true class. So particularly in that first 40 minutes. Sometimes hard to get up for the second 40 minutes when you've completely ironed out a side in the first half.
Let's get back to Manly. Let's get back to Manly,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we can
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the other ones. Like I'm happy
Yeah.
to talk about Storm. I know they're good. I know they're dominant. But let's
Yeah,
go
I
through
mean,
that Manly
speaks for
game.
themselves.
Yeah,
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 well, Manly won that game 42-12 against the Cowboys.
yeah, yeah,
So at halftime it was 24-0, which is
yeah.
awesome.
And
And
it was
pretty
nice
much all,
to
yeah.
be like even at 24-0. Were you like, oh, this is in the bag?
No, because it's the Manly Warringah
Yeah.
Sea
But
As I
based
said,
on that play, you were. Do you know what I mean? You're like, if Manly can keep
well,
playing like that.
you know what? As I've said with my famous mantra that I used many times last year, Manly have fucked up more leads than the KGB and the
Yeah,
FBI, but I just felt that there was a different energy heading
yeah,
into half time
yeah,
this
yeah,
time. It actually felt like when they came out to play, they were playing to win,
yeah,
not to protect the lead. And I think sometimes in the past, if they haven't got points early in the second half, they've been guilty of trying to protect a lead
yeah,
or get a bit jittery that they've got a big lead, and then all of a sudden the other team scores a few next, and
yeah.
then they completely lose their lollies. But not
All
on
right.
this night.
Take us
Yeah.
through the match, Drewy. Take us through. Take us through.
So we actually skipped out to. So it was 24-0 at half time. Four tries to nil. At one point in the second half, it got to Manly 42, leading the Cowboys nil.
Yeah,
The Cowboys got two late tries in the last 10 minutes. Manly did take off a few players. Manly's best players were Daly Cherry Evans, Luke Brooks, Hamoli Olakau'atu, Jason Saab, Ruben Garrick, and of course, Tommy Turbo.
yeah,
Tom Travoy, absolutely outstanding.
yeah. He just
I
is
look,
so good off the ruck and just
yeah,
accelerating and breaking through the line. Like he just
yeah.
if he
I
doesn't
don't
break
think
through,
there are
he
any
almost
bad.
breaks through all the time. Like it's incredible, you know?
It is. He's got that uncanny knack of finding a gap, which is
Yep,
awesome. I don't think Manly had any bad players.
yep,
I won't give their performance a complete A plus or 10 out of 10. I know it's hard marking, but at 42-0, I would have liked to have seen them not let in any more points. The fact they let in the last two tries was a bit disappointing. I
yeah,
know it sounds harsh, but I think you've got to critique your own side harshly if you want to be a major player
yeah.
within the competition and have aspirations of winning
So
it.
that's probably not a bad thing, but those
Yeah,
tries were, the tries against Manly.
yeah,
Well, let's go back to the tries for Manly. Like Manly's first try was that Olakuatu try,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that guy just smashed through. Seriously, like he is like a complete wrecking ball. That I think
Yeah,
it was four people that got to him on that first try.
he absolutely barreled right through them. I think, half of Townsville and the Cyclone were trying to stop him, but
Yeah,
nothing was going to stop him from
yeah,
reaching that bloody
yeah,
white stripe.
yeah,
Once he gets a bit of steam and the old red mist around him, ain't
yeah.
nothing going to stop him.
Yeah.
So, it
Honest to
was
God.
awesome.
It's so exciting watching him too, isn't it? And you can tell
Look,
that the other players just he must say, give it to me, mate, he just charges them. So good,
yeah,
honest to
yeah.
God.
Like his
Best.
entree for dinner
Yeah,
is a 24-piece bucket of KFC
yeah,
with the 1.25 litre Pepsi and the large potato and gravy. That's
yeah,
before he's even got to the main course. So
yeah.
good luck stopping him. You
Yeah,
may as
yeah.
well throw on a
Four
high vis
people couldn't
vest
stop
and
him for
pull
that
up the
try.
giveaway sign. Yeah.
Yeah, they could not
Yeah.
stop
So
him.
so look, just phenomenal effort from
The
everybody.
second try was Turbo. And it was that
Yeah.
one where, I actually didn't see it happen. Like I did not see Turbo, like it was like one of those no look flick passes.
Yeah, the quick
And
flick pass
it
onto
was
the
so
winger.
quick. I thought he got taken down with the ball, and he just gets it, no look, just boom. And you talk about like you got the, the, if it's a band, you got the brass players like,
Yeah,
Ola Kawatu, and you got the
yeah,
strings or whatever that,
yeah,
like
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah,
Turbo. But Turbo
yeah.
seems to have it all, doesn't he? You know,
He does.
he can break through and he can just pull off those those magic, like no look passes. Like Olaquatu couldn't do something like that. No forward.
Yeah, no, he couldn't, but that's not his role either.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
role is to steamroll
You
people,
know,
and he shouldn't be
Hulk
focused
smash,
on doing
Hulk
anything.
smash. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Absolutely. And he
Yeah,
does have a few silky skills in him, Olakuatu, but it's
yeah.
not necessarily what he's known for, nor
You know what
should
he
it be.
said? He's like they actually even said it too. They said he's not known for his interview techniques, and they did interview him. Did you watch that too? He is
Yeah,
the man of few words.
he is. He doesn't have a fond relationship with
Yeah,
words,
yeah,
but again, he doesn't need to be. When you're that bloody good at your craft, at being big and rolling over the top of people, people don't want or need you to be good at anything else.
yeah,
But apart from Manly, I just want to say the other teams I was impressed with, obviously the Storm
yeah,
this week and the Broncos who hit 50 to
yeah,
beat the Roosters 14. The
yeah.
Broncos look absolutely amazing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Because
So,
let's face it, like let's think of those three teams. Three teams
yeah,
got smashed. Uh,
yeah,
Roosters, Cowboys, and Para.
yeah,
I mean, like the best team out of those is the Roosters, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and Broncos just schooled them. They are going to be a force, the Broncos this year.
yes,
They hell are. Yep.
yes. So
Um,
the Broncos actually scored 9 tries to 3 in that game.
yep.
And just the fact that they've got Reynolds back, I mean,
Mm.
that's just massive for them because people forget, as much as the Broncos struggled last year,
Yeah,
they didn't have their composer or their puppet master in Reynolds last year. And for as good as the other players are, I genuinely see him as their main man. Again, Payne Haas absolutely damaging as a forward. He's like Manly's equivalent of Hamoli Olakau'atu.
yeah,
Big, strong, tough, good work rate, awesome forward. Like, honestly, the Broncos have a top 4 roster. They really do.
yeah,
That's why I predicted them at number 4 in our prediction video. The likes of Reynolds, Hunt, Cobbo, Walsh, Haas. I mean, the
yeah,
basic roster just speaks for itself. And the poor old Roosters, they've lost a glut of players and they're going to struggle a bit this year. So I felt a bit sorry for them running up against a red hot Broncos team to begin with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what about this whole Dolphins coming down to Sydney fiasco? I thought that's worth talking about a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the cyclone happened. Um, some Dolphins manager decided, oh, we're going to go to Sydney, you know, and didn't
Yeah.
tell the players. And the players were like, no, well, why would I agree to that? We're playing here, got my family here, got a cyclone coming, I got maybe kids, maybe, you know, elderly parents, who knows? You don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to be without when a bloody
Mm.
cyclone's coming, understandably. So how many out of the team said, bugger that, I'm staying in bloody Redcliffe?
There are actually 3 players.
Hmm.
It was Nicarima, Nichols, and Bromwich.
Yep.
So Nicarima was the biggest loss because he's a bit
Yep.
of a playmaker for them.
Yep.
So that was a huge loss. And I'm not saying it would have guaranteed been the difference between winning and losing, but
Well, it was pretty close, wasn't it?
in a game that was 16 to 14,
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
well have made the difference.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think both sides will do okay this year. Although I tipped the Dolphins as wooden spooners in my
Yeah,
prediction video. They looked a bit better than that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
by the same token, it's hard to predict a wooden spooner this year. But I don't think either side are going to really greatly shake up the finals.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got the feeling that they looked okay in patches, both sides, but it was a bit of a grafting game. And sometimes you get games that are close on the scoreline,
yeah,
that are
yeah.
razor close, but are exciting. This
Yeah.
wasn't one of them. I think this one could have put a glass eye to sleep.
I just kind of really wanted the Dolphins to win because I thought that was like already they were stiffed before it began. And
Yeah,
here they
yeah.
are playing Wayne,
Mm,
and
yeah.
everybody just thinks he whatever he touches turns to gold. Where I don't know, like maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I wanted them to come down here and win, defy those odds, and they didn't. But anyway, I wasn't
They
on.
almost the Dolphins almost did win. It was
Yeah,
only a try
yeah,
in the 67th minute by Isaiah Tass from
yeah,
South
yeah,
that saw them hit the lead. Essentially, it was the three tries all game.
yeah,
So, it's just goal kicking that kind of made the difference. Two
yeah.
from three for the Rabbitohs, one from three for the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah, yeah,
And it was a case of Wayne Bennett, not only against his old club, but against his understudy.
yeah,
Wayne Bennett versus Christian Wolf,
yeah,
and Wayne Bennett got it over the Wolfpack this
yeah.
time.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens next time.
Yeah. All right. Well, the highlight was the Manly win for rugby
Yeah,
league,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
It was the best game. The
The
best,
other one,
the best team. Who do you reckon? Was it Brisbane? Was it
oh, no,
Manly? Was it Storm?
oh, interesting to say. Like this is slightly controversial.
Hmm.
I'm going to actually say that Brisbane looked the best on the
Yeah. Wow.
weekend. Now, I
Yeah.
know the Storm got 56 points as opposed to
Yeah.
Brisbane 50, but unlike the Storm, Brisbane actually went on with it in the second half.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I believe that in the Brisbane game it was 20-4 in
Half time.
at the end of the first half
Yep.
at half time, and
Yep.
then they actually went on to score another 30 points.
Yep.
Whereas Melbourne didn't actually go on with it. Doesn't matter though, you're probably splitting hairs because both teams looked sensational.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
think both teams, as good as Manly looked, I thought Manly looked the third best team
Yep.
of the round, but
Yep.
I have those two above it. But splitting hairs, I'd go with the Broncos.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And isn't it good that Manly won? I know I've said it 10 times, but
Yeah, it is.
doesn't feel to get and not just get a Manly win, but also like I'm sick of the stressful Manly wins where like you only just
Yeah,
win or you come back or it's close. I like those wins where you can just sit and relax and enjoy
yeah,
try after try after try. The third try of Manly, remember that one was the one where it was bombed and Hopewadi caught it and he took
yes,
it out of Drinkwater's hand. Geez, he's a good
yes.
back, Drinkwater as well. Look, Cowboys weren't bad. They weren't bad.
Cowboys weren't
Yeah.
bad. Manly were just very good. So
Yep. Yep.
that is true. I
Yep.
probably didn't give Manly enough credit early on because as a supporter, you all the critical thinking, you tend to look a bit negatively on things, but it was a very, very good performance. And I think Cowboys were just basically outplayed.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Manly put in a fantastic performance. The other performance, which I was intrigued about, I don't know if everyone else was this weekend, was
Yeah.
Tigers and Knights,
Oh
because
yeah. Yep.
I was interested to see how the Tigers would go
Yeah.
because they've got some really good players, new players in their roster,
Yep.
namely Luai being their marquee signing. But apart from that, they've also got Jarrell Skelton from the Bulldogs and they got Taruva from the Panthers,
How'd Luai go?
amongst Royce Hunt and I know there's someone else I'm forgetting, Jack Bird.
Hey, how'd
Um,
Luai go? How'd he play?
Luai went pretty well,
Yeah.
but the problem. So I'm not going to sit here and claim he had an outstanding game and he was some massive shining light.
Yeah,
He played fairly well for his first game, given that they've got to get their bearings and combinations right. And this was never going to be a quick fix. I think a lot of people get drunk on the signings. They think you're going to wheel out a shiny new Ferrari that's just going to hit the semis straight away. In our prediction video, I had them to finish the season at 14th. I still stand by
yeah,
somewhere like that
yeah,
for the season. They've got plenty of talent.
yeah,
The thing though is there will be a bit of pressure on Luai
yeah,
because he's on huge money, as there will be plenty of pressure
yeah,
on Benji Marshall.
yeah.
Because you've got a team with Luai, Galvin, Taruva, Bird, Hunt, like all these fairly pretty good damn
Oh yeah,
players.
big names.
So,
Yeah,
so these days of excuses hitting the wooden spoon and people giving you a pass, they're kind of over.
yeah,
I sort of think anything that's less than 14th place this year for the Tigers is a pretty big fail. It's a bit of a wow, 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 wow.
yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Do you want to talk about any more rugby league or any other games, or what else?
Uh, look, I think the other games, nothing really that exciting to report
Yeah.
on for the other games. What I will say is we have had some developments about Las Vegas next year.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Already.
So, yeah, it's pretty much confirmed that they are going to actually scrap the fourth game, which I think is a fantastic
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
You
yeah,
only need three.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Honest,
the first year there was two, and that was enough, right? Two's enough.
yeah,
Two's enough for sure.
like honestly, by the time it hits the fourth game and people have been completely sozzled on drugs and alcohol and whatever else they've had in the stadium, and not that you can take drugs into the stadium, but you're in Vegas. But
Yeah,
by the time you've had a gut full of liquor and you hit the fourth game,
yeah.
people in the stadium are looking like a bunch of 95-year-olds who've been over medicated in a nursing home.
Yeah, it's too
It's
much.
too much of a long day.
Yeah.
So,
So is
uh,
that all you got? Just there's going to be three games instead of four.
well, one thing I think that I can kind of confirm now, and I think that you'll be happy about this because I used to think there was only room on this podcast for one misogynist, and that
Oh,
was me. But I think you'll be happy, and I'm passing over that reign to
oh
you
yeah,
because
yeah,
it
yeah.
would appear that you're already smiling at the fact that they might be scrapping the women's game next
Ah,
year.
okay, yep, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that was a waste of time for everybody,
Which
wasn't it?
I'm really sad about. And again, I'm not being sarcastic.
No.
I really lent into the nuance of the skill and the silky subtleties that the women
Are they
brought
going
to
to
the
do
game.
the Pommy one, the Super League?
If
Or
you want to learn about rugby league, if you're a boy or a girl, watch the women's Gillaroos. It's
oh
an
god,
absolute running textbook on
yeah,
how to play rugby league.
yeah,
No sarcasm
yeah.
intended.
Um,
But
so
yeah.
the three games, are they going to have a Super League game?
I do believe so. I think that was a raging success.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that we watch Super League over here as much as we watch the International Knitting
Yeah,
Tournament of
yeah,
the world.
yeah. I
So we
didn't know
don't
that was
watch.
international knitting. Imagine they're sitting there, some grandmas racing. Come on, now, let's go. Come on, bring it, Granny. Yeah.
Mate, we're gonna have to run a replay on that cross match. That was but
All right, so
ultra slow
that's
motion
Vegas. That's Vegas, baby, Vegas. Look, is it a 5 year deal or 3 year deal?
for Vegas.
Yeah. Or it's just
I,
you
I
think,
just think it's an ongoing,
yeah,
continuous thing. But
great.
how
Yeah,
I think they're going to run it though this time is I do believe because the English game was such a success, how I would run it. I'm just like speculating, but how I think they'll do it is I think they'll probably have an NRL game first. They'll
yeah,
sandwich the English game in the middle and
yeah,
finish off with an NRL game after that.
yeah,
To me, that would make sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I just feel like it's a new thing for rugby league and it's here to stay and keep it. Everybody bloody loves it. It's a great start to
it's awesome.
the
It's
year,
awesome.
isn't it?
And
Yeah.
there's a strong push for the Bulldogs next year to be
Oh, yep.
playing in it.
Okay, yep. Let them have
Yeah.
their turn. Yep.
I'm making a prediction now.
Yep.
I'm going to predict old rivals, Bulldogs, and although it's not as big a rivalry as Bulldogs and Parramatta, I'm going to predict that it might be a Bulldogs St George game next
Ah,
year.
yep.
I
Okay.
could be wrong. That's just my crystal ball
Yep.
talking.
I like it. I like it. Okay. Next, before we move on to other things, what about the games next week? Okay, round two. Okay,
Yes.
and you tell me who's going to win. Okay. So
Okay.
we got the Knights playing the Dolphins at Knights home. Yeah, so in Newcastle on
Could be
Thursday night.
slightly an unpopular opinion. I'm still going with the Knights. I don't hate the Dolphins. I just think people are underestimating Kalen Ponga and what he brings to the Knights game. If he gets injured, they are monumentally stuffed. But I
Yeah.
think he's that good to get them over the line.
Well, the Knights are the favourite in blonde bet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And all right, I'm going to go for the Dolphins there. Friday night. It's the Warriors in New
Yes,
Zealand, mate, playing the
yes.
mighty Seagulls. What's your prediction there?
I'm going to pick Maori Warringah to win that one.
The Polynesian Seagulls. Okay, yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So
put it
yeah,
on blonde bet. Put it
heavy
on blonde
on
bet.
them.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Shout out
Uh,
Ola Kawatu.
Next one, Friday night. Oh, great one, Drewy. Friday night, 8 o'clock. Panthers versus the Roosters.
I do. I would have used to have liked this game, but
Yep,
the Roosters feel very depleted right
yep.
now, and I just think it's
Panthers
going to
gonna
be
smash them.
complete
Yeah,
one-way
gonna
traffic.
smash them.
Those Roosters are going to be headed northbound on a southbound freeway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. Saturday night, 3 o'clock. Dragons play the Bunnies in Wollongong.
Interesting. That's a tough one to pick. I am going to pick Clint Eastwood, aka Wayne Bennett's Rabbitohs, to pull
Ah,
something
okay.
out of the
Yeah,
hat.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Same day, Saturday, 5:30. Good match in Townsville. Cowboys, who was, smashed by Manly,
Yeah.
playing Sharks. Like,
Well,
good match. Good match.
after Cyclone Alfred has made a swift exit,
Yeah.
I'm expecting the mighty Sharks to bounce back after the Panthers loss. And the Sharks didn't lose by that much. It was a close game. I thought the
Yeah.
Sharks played very well. I
Yeah.
know the Cowboys will have a lot to prove, but I just think there's too much class in the Sharks.
Yeah, I don't agree with you there. I reckon Cowboys are going to win that. I really do. And then Saturday night in Canberra, where it's nice and
Mm.
cold and no cyclones ever happen. Canberra Raiders and Brisbane. Brisbane are coming down for it. Who
Oh,
you?
I think Brisbane are playing far too well. I was impressed with Canberra for the record. I give them a lot of stick on this show with their demented clap.
Yep.
But full props to them in Vegas. They played an awesome game, but I just see Brisbane with far too much starch this year.
Yeah.
And Madge Maguire has completely kicked out the rock star culture that was Brisbane. He's pulling earrings out of the players' ears. He's rubbing off their nail polish and saying, "Not on my bloody watch. Stop and give me 1,000 push-ups."
Like,
And I think it'd be all
Drewy,
Brisbane.
that's going to be my underdog blonde bet.
Yeah.
Canberra Raiders beating the Brisbane Broncos in Canberra and Ricky Stewart being as happy as a pig in shit. We also have to say, after this, that's my blonde bet. We have to
Yeah.
say, what's the gambling thing? You gamblers never win, or what's it? What is
Yeah, something like
it?
that.
But
Think about what you're gambling with, something like that. Shows we don't listen to these ads
yeah,
particularly well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know what it is. Hang on, give me a second. What are
What
you
are you
really
really
gambling with?
gambling
Is
with?
that it? You know?
Yes. What are you really gambling with?
What are you really
Yes.
gambling with? Okay.
We got 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 10 minutes. That was that 10 minutes. Um,
Beautifully.
So Sunday, 4 o'clock,
Yes.
in Combank Stadium, Parramatta Eels play Tigers. Wow, what do you reckon?
Oh,
Good
that's
match. Yeah,
that's difficult.
yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna make the leap. I haven't been very nice to the Tigers over the
yeah,
years,
yeah.
and I'm not really feeling too many vibes from the Eels right now, so I'm going with the Tigers
I'm
in
going to
this
agree
one.
with you. I reckon that's going to be Tigers win, and they are going to be absolutely pumped. Benji is
Yeah.
going to be so happy. And then the big match, the last match at 6 o'clock, 6:15, down in Belmore, the Doggies play. Who do you call Dez's team? The Titans? You call him what, like Puff the Magic Dragon, or what do you call him?
I don't know, the Nutty
The
Professor.
Nutty Professor. Yeah, yeah, the Nutty Professor. That's it. Okay. Who's going to win that? Doggies are playing the Titans. I reckon that's pretty close too.
I love Des. Look, Bulldogs were playing pretty well this weekend, and then they took their foot off the accelerator. They were like
Yep.
28-6 ahead, and then they let in the last three tries. But I think they've got enough starch to not let that happen again this week, even though they won. I just think the Bulldogs have got a bit too much for the Titans at this point.
Okay. All right. Good tipping. Drewy,
Yes.
we
Yes.
have a few minutes, 8 minutes,
Yeah.
talk about a bit of Aussie rules. Is that okay? Can we run through some Aussie rules?
Yes.
How do you want to
So there are only two games
Yeah, I know, but
this round.
we got to talk a
Thanks,
little bit about it. We only got
thanks
eight.
to
I put it in the thumbnail, you know what I mean? So I feel like we got,
yeah. Thanks to our mate Cyclone Alfred
yeah,
making an appearance in Queensland, causing havoc everywhere.
everywhere, you know?
Anyway, our two teams played.
Yeah,
So I'm a
yeah,
massive Swans supporter. I
yeah.
didn't realize over the off season that they had actually their coach had resigned, John Longmire.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
there's a new coach at the helm, which doesn't instill me with great confidence, but it's okay. I'm willing to give the new guy on the block a
yep,
go.
yep,
Having said that, they did lose to the Hawthorn Hawks
yep,
96-76.
yep, yep, yep.
And unfortunately, your Collingwood Magpies didn't
Yeah,
fare much better. They
yeah.
lost to the GWS 104-52. So we both had a losing week in the AFL. It wasn't a great week for us.
So there was meant to be more games in the Aussie rules this weekend.
Yes, but they called off. Obviously, the cyclone
Why
caused
don't
a
they
bit of,
just do what they did here and move them to Melbourne or move them?
yeah, I don't know. It's
Isn't that a
it's
better
hard
idea?
to tell. I will say this, for as big as the AFL is, and for the fact that it's been big brother to the NRL for a very, very long time, I will say this. I think
Forever, forever.
yeah, the administrators of the NRL are doing a much better job than the administrators of the AFL. You
Big
look at
call.
Vegas, it completely sucked the air out of the AFL product for
Yeah.
at least the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm.
People didn't really even have much publicity that the AFL was even starting, apart from the fact that people generally know when it starts anyway. But NRL has, due to the Vegas and everything else, it's got
Mm.
a lot of momentum behind it. And the administrator, the head honcho, Peter Volandis, has been doing a fantastic job in organising everything. I mean, to organise that at such short notice as well was amazing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just going to extra lengths that AFL isn't doing. And I don't
Well,
know whether they're resting on their laurels or not, but he certainly isn't.
the thing is, I've heard a lot of people that are AFL supporters, criticize this whole Vegas thing
Yes.
and say that it isn't a good thing for the code because it's a lot of money and it's not expanding the code. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the fans love it, the players love it, you know. But yeah, there's never going to be an American
Yeah,
player.
you know what?
That's not the goal, you know.
No, it's just a big tradition and a big spectacle to bring to America
Yeah,
each year so
Yeah.
that they can enjoy it each year. And you know what? To me, that just sounds like a great big case of the big, jealous, green-eyed monster
Yeah.
from the AFL.
Yeah.
It's the same, and I've got nothing against the AFL. I like the game,
Yeah.
but it's the same game that brought you years ago
Mm.
Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast in China, and there were four people in the stadium drinking a bottle of water and eating some noodles on the sideline.
And dim sims. I saw him eating dim sims as well. Those dimmies,
Mate,
you know?
that and gee, that product in China,
Yeah.
it fell about as flat as an accountant doing a set at a comedy night.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah. Yeah.
just bloody awful.
So,
Uh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, both codes are expanding, you know.
yes,
You've
yes,
got
yes,
Aussie rules, going to Tasmania. You've got,
yes.
like rugby league going to be the Papua New Guinean cannibals, you know? Um,
Eventually, in
yeah,
a couple of years, yeah.
yeah. Well, we're,
One
we're, we're
thing,
probably going to get, here's another prediction, Drewy.
yeah,
I think that, that is happening. The Papua New Guinean cannibals,
yes,
are
yeah,
happening. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a signing this year.
yeah. Well, firstly, I enjoy the comedic overtone of the cannibals, but political correctness isn't particularly your strong suit. I
No,
don't think it'll pass as the cannibals,
no, no, no,
but
no, no. Yeah, it won't.
maybe maybe worst case scenario, the Spears might be on the
Yeah,
cusp,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't think it'll be either. But yeah, whatever the Papua New Guinean side will be, so
yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Mm.
I just also want to introduce one new segment because we haven't got much time.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's right. So I've got a new segment. Every now and then, on a particular date in the world, something huge happened in sport
Yeah.
on this day.
Oh, okay.
So on this day, 54 years ago,
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali lost his first fight to Joe Frazier
Oh, okay. Yep.
in
Yep.
America. So
Okay.
on this day, that's our on this day for this
Oh,
week.
I like it on this day.
There
Yeah.
you go. They went on to fight, have a trilogy. Muhammad Ali won the other two. But
Yep.
on this day, this was your day, Mr. Smokin' Joe Frazier.
Good
So
on him.
shout
Okay.
out to you. Even though he's not here to enjoy me
Yeah.
shouting out because he's
Shout out
great.
to you because you're dead, but shout out to you anyway.
Yeah.
But that's
But
okay.
you
You can
know,
shout out to dead people. I shout out
that's
to
true.
dead people all the time.
Yeah. The on this day won't happen every episode, but I'll be sure to keep my eagle eye out for it every
You do a
now and
lot of, oh yeah, this is going to be a tradition and it just happens once. This will probably be
yes.
one of those.
That's right. I mean, why do you think before I met my missus, so many of my relationships failed? Just empty promises. I'm a
Empty
man of
promises. Yeah, empty promises. Drewy, that's us. That's
yeah,
less than a minute to go.
yeah.
Great episode. Rugby
Hey,
league's here. Aussie rules here. Manly won. How good's that?
and goodbye, Cyclone Alfred. We hope we
Yeah.
never see you again.
I
And
was kind of hoping that that cyclone was going to be like even more like really disappointing, like it was just going to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
just like
Like a grandma sneeze.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
someone did a fart, and that's it. It's just, hey, everybody preparing sandbags and like all this shit, and then okay, the cyclone's here, and just
Yeah.
like nothing happens. You see that
It's a
tumbleweed?
silent fart from Doris in the retirement home. Unbelievable.
That's
I
what I
was
want.
hoping that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we hope you're all safe out there,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
you're in Queensland.
Yeah. Don't worry.
We
I
still
just
love it.
think Manly won, so everything else doesn't really matter so much. Do you know what I mean?
Manly's the cherry on top.
The
Pardon
cherry.
the pun.
Yeah.
Mr. Daily Cherry. Yes.
So Manly play this Friday against the Warriors. Yeah.
Out for it.
And we're going to win.